الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة واتقوا الله ربكم لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة وتلك حدود الله ومن يتعد حدود الله فقد ظلم نفسه لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا فإذا بلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو فارقوهن بمعروف وأشهدوا ذوي عدل منكم وأقيموا الشهادة لله ذلكم يوعظ به من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن وأولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا ذلك أمر الله أنزله إليكم ومن يتق الله يكفر عنه سيئاته ويعظم له أجرا أسكنوهن من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم ولا تضاروهن لتضيقوا عليهن وإن كن أولات حمل فأنفقوا عليهن حتى يضعن حملهن فإن أرضعن لكم فآتوهن أجورهن وأتمروا بينكم بمعروف وإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى لينفق ذو سعة من سعته ومن قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا وكأين من قرية عتت عن أمر ربها ورسله فحاسبناها حسابا شديدا فحاسبناها حسابا.
As the gender war rages on, in order to keep the peace, we must discuss the exact facts. Welcome to Ex-Faktly. I am your host, Saudi Imam. Remove your shoes and enter upon your right foot, upon the right state of mind, bi'idhnillah. Topic: Dear baby daddies, I have good news and bad news. Now, often we go into new relationships and we don't know, as men or women, where are the boundaries. We don't know where are the boundaries. So we tend to overstep or understep. Knowledge precedes everything. The first condition of Shahada is even knowledge. So, dear baby daddies, I have some good news and bad news. And this good news or bad news will be forwarded and relayed to you by your baby mama or by her new husband, her new Muslim husband. To get started, a wakil or a wali is an organizer of the affairs of their ward. Once you marry a woman, she becomes your ward. She becomes your responsibility. You are the organizer of her affairs. Often, her affairs encompasses children from previous relationship or relationships. So, is it within our wheelhouse or within our authority to organize that affair as well? We'll talk about it. Organizing the affairs of your ward, your wife in this particular instance, is not limited to paying the bills and checking on what is the noise outside of the bedroom window. But that extends to also organizing her affairs in such that you protect her even from herself, just as much as you would protect her from the hellfire by making sure she made salat and fasted Ramadan and performed all of the other acts that Allah Ta'ala orders, enjoining right, forbidding wrong, and avoiding oppressing others. Often, the father from the previous relationship, the father of the child from the previous relationship, is indeed oppressed. So, with that being your ward, would you serve as a co-oppressor? That being your ward, would you become complicit in the oppression by your lackadaisical addressing of the matter of the children in regards to their fathers, sperm donors, quote unquote baby daddies? The view of a man that adamantly refuses to financially contribute to his stepchildren's affairs, he's looked down upon. Women would tell you, I'm a package deal. I would not accept a man that did not love me and my kids. I want my man, my new husband, to treat my kids like they are his own. We hear all of this. One particular instance, real to life example, I was in talks with the sister about marriage, and she said, "Oh, let me say off the bat, don't worry about my children. Their fathers take care of them. So don't when you figure out my budget, don't even equate my children into that budget because my children's fathers take care of them." Then when she gave me the budget, I said, "Wow, that is quite steep for you. Well, that's quite steep for you, being that the children's fathers take care of their children." I said, "What is entailed in this budget? You know, because this is a big budget. What's entailed in this budget?" I was curious, and she said, "Well, I ain't gonna argue about my kids. You know, I ain't gonna argue about my kids. Um, I ain't gonna argue with no man about my kids. You know." I said, "It's not an argument about your kids. You said the children's fathers take care of their children. Therefore, therefore, don't add them into the budget." So I am not adding them into the budget. I'm inquiring about what it takes to maintain you. "Well, I ain't gonna argue about my kids." I said, "Oh, this woman's Majnuna. She's insane. She's crazy." And I cut all communication. I ain't got time for all of that. You know. So a man that adamantly opposes taking care of children, which it was not my situation. She threw it out first. I don't need anybody to take care of my kids. Okay. So, but a man that says, "I'm not taking care of your kids," that's the father's responsibility or yours alone. He's looked down upon, although he's correct, although he's right and correct and in line with the Sharia. Okay, he's right and correct, but they look down on individuals that men that won't take care of stepkids like they are his own. I've never had a problem with that. I've always had a problem with the manipulation. One instance, a woman was getting food stamps for her kids. She pretended to lose her card, and maybe she sent the food stamp card home to her mom or whatever, out of state. But she pretended to lose the card and had me spending cash, 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 cash to take care, my kids, of course, and her kids with cash money when, they were being provided for by the state. She had some state babies, those were children of the, I know we say children of the bed. Those were children of the state, so, and I had no problem. I did it, but that wasn't the only problem. So therefore, alhamdulillah, we're not together. Nevertheless, so we either adhere to the letter of the Sharia law, which is that those children are the responsibility of their fathers, or we become superfluous and philanthropic, and we just take on responsibility ourselves, not enjoying the rights of a father, but taking on the responsibilities of a father. So it's either or, okay? Either we practice the letter of the law regarding Sharia law, which I will define and describe some of it, or we just wholesale step in as the super simp, or step in as the savior. Nevertheless, here are some examples, some scenarios. Example number one. This is how it should go, inshallah ta'ala. Now, in this, especially with item number, item number 4. Okay, item number 5. When I get to example 5, especially example number 5. If you find something I said incorrect, then inshallah provide the evidence and correct me. You can put it in the comments, so on and so forth. Contact me directly. It's up to you. Nevertheless, so 5 is from my understanding. If you find something different, let me know. Okay. Example number 1. Illegal conception, mean bastard child. Okay. Illegal conception before Islam by a kafir. So this woman is now Muslim, okay? She's now Muslim, and she had, a matter of fact, let me scratch that. She's just a woman. She's a woman. She's Ahl Kitabi or she's Muslim. It doesn't matter in this particular instance. It was illegal conception, boyfriend, girlfriend, fun baby, whatever, before the woman, before Islam, meaning, she's not Muslim or she could be Muslim. She became Muslim after the fact or she is still not Muslim, okay, by a kafir. Now, I know some people say that a kafir woman must be a virgin, musanat, must be a virgin before you can marry her. But Allah says musanat among the believers and musanat among the Ahl Kitab, Utul Kitab. So if a Muslim woman don't have to be a virgin, how could you transfer that criteria to a kafir woman? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense according to the Sharia. But nevertheless, so illegal conception, a child was had outside of wedlock before Islam, and the sperm donor is a kafir. That's the scenario. Sperm donor is a kafir. Bastard child by a kafir. Okay? Before Islam. Child support. Here's the conversation. Hey man, what's up, man? My name is such and such. I am the husband of such and such. That conceived the child by you. I have some good news and bad news. You are currently on child support, right? Yeah, man, I'm on child support, man. Yeah, man, you're taking it out my check. Well, good news. We're going to cancel that child support. We're going to go through all of the processes to cancel that child support. No longer obligated to take care of this child financially. Under the requirement that your future rights be signed away. You forfeit your rights to the parenting of this child. And I'm going to tell you why. One, because this child was had outside of wedlock. Islamically, because I'm Muslim, Islamically, you're not obligated to financially support this child. Okay? Now, if you find a sheikh that says you do have to support the child, then follow that sheikh. But by the usul al-fiqh, the pure fiqh of Islam, the usul of Islam, that child is not your child, therefore the responsibility is lifted. That child belongs to the woman and not the man. Nevertheless, we're going to cancel child support. That's the good news. Second one, bad news. He might think it's good news too. The future rights of the child must be signed away. You must forfeit your rights to parentship, guardianship on that child. And the Muslim husband is going to assume the responsibility of that child, like their Molana or their adopted children. You're going to assume responsibility. So if they agree to the rights being signed away, then the processes of removing the child support would be at the same time. So that's good and bad news for this person that conceived an illegal child before Islam by a kafir. Okay, before Islam by a kafir, meaning that it happened before Islam. Okay. Let's move on to example number 2. An illegal conception, bastard child, fun baby, after Islam by a kafir. So this woman became Muslim, then had a fun baby in the break room at her job, which a lot of infidelity happens at the job. I heard Muslim sisters joke about work husband. A Muslim man, by Sharia, could basically, put heads to bed. I'll say it that way. He can put heads to bed. There's no work husband. And we'll talk about that later on toward the end when I sum it up. There's no work husband. That's a joke that can get somebody severely injured or fatally injured. But we're going to continue. Let's go and continue the jokes. Let's continue the jokes. You run across a man, and you're going to be, hurt, or dead, nevertheless. So this illegal child conceived by a kafir man after Islam. So she's Muslim and she conceived the child by a kafir man. Child support. Hello, sir. My name is such and such. I'm a Muslim. I just married. This woman, which is a hard pill to swallow, but it happens. Okay, I just married this woman. Uh, Here's a proposal. Good news. We're going to cancel the child support that you're currently on. Okay. Um, uh, Under the pretense that the your future rights, parental rights, are signed away. Okay. Now you say, well, what if he refused to sign the parental rights away? Well, that means that he'll have rights on visitation of the child. He'll have a rights as a kafir to influence the child, and you can't have it both ways. So signing them out of child support is it's like a carrot. It's like putting a carrot on the end of the stick to get that donkey to move in the direction that is best for the welfare of the children. Because actually, what I'm talking about right now is best for the welfare of the children. Okay, not to be going back and forth from a kafir to a Muslim household. That's not good for the child. Okay, and then the Muslim husband again assumes the burden. If he signs his rights away, which is to have no legal standard, a legal ground, a legal standing in influencing the children, to have visitation with the children, then by that we will offer the carrot of, look, we're going to take the child support away, which they're not obligated to child support anyway, Islamically. Okay. Example number 3. Illegal conception before Islam by a Muslim man, meaning this Muslim man shot the club up with this with this kafir woman and had a child. You come along, right? You come along and what? You come along and you marry her after the fact. Okay, it happens. Not debating the merits of that, but you marry her after the fact. And so now he gets a phone call. Assalamu alaikum. I am such and such. I just married such and such. Your ex-Kafir associate, whatever I don't know what you want to call it, right? Here's good news. We're going to cancel that child support that you got put on. Under the pretense that you sign your parental rights away, because Islamically you have no rights on this child, okay? Because you shot the club up, without giving her propers, dignifying her, okay? And then you would tell him, then after that, the Muslim husband will assume the burden of the child. It becomes his responsibility, okay, his ward, okay? Example number 4. Again, illegal conception, bastard child, after Islam by a Muslim. So you got a Muslim sister, a woman that became Muslim, she's a Muslim sister, Muslim brother creeping around, not dignifying her, shot the club up, he shot the club up and she got pregnant. They kept the baby. So here come you simping. You super simp. So you come along, you marry her, you dignify her after her mistake, and then you call the Muslim brother. Assalamu alaikum, I understand that you shot the club up with sister such and such, and y'all had a bastard child. Man, don't call my child no bastard. Well, you should have thought about that before you laid down with her. Yeah, before you shoot the club up with a woman that's not your wife, start thinking about that. Don't get all machismo and responsible and super dad. After I call a spade, So anyway, I got good news and bad news out. We're gonna cancel the child support you got put on by that sister. Okay. Under the pretense that you sign away your rights to the child, because Islamically you have no rights. Or I can get you the information if you need it. And me, as the husband, will assume the rights on the child, so the child will be in good hands. If you have any sentimental attachment to the child, let that purely be sentimental. It is not anything in the sight of Allah Ta'ala legitimate. Okay, so walk away from your sin, go into the sunset. I got this. That's example 4. Now we go into example 5. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, brother Yusuf Shabazz Williams. So we're going to example number 5. There was a legal conception. Legal conception. They were married under the wedlock before Islam. Kafir woman, kafir man, married. Islam holds that marriage sacred. That marriage cannot be violated. Okay? Unless she became Muslim, that marriage cannot be violated. So it's two kafirs had a child under wedlock, which is dignified, better than a lot of Muslims are doing, and they have a child. Now she marries a Muslim man after they divorce. So she marries this Muslim man, and he calls that kafir guy, the ex-husband, and says, "Hey, yo, my name is such and such. You know, understand, you're on child support for this and that child. We're going to cancel that child support. Um, we're going to discuss you assuming custodianship of that child. Because it breaks my heart to say this, that you will send a child to a kafir man. That's that man's right, not your right. When that child is with you, teach him, educate them, love them, okay? And perhaps you'll win in the end. But that man has rights. That man has rights, and you cannot take his rights from him. It break my heart to let a child go visit a kafir, be raised around the lights and the celebrations and whatever else they're going to do. And you can have this as an opportunity for dawah. You say, what? Hey, look, man, I understand y'all got a child. I'm Muslim, Islamically, man, look, you shouldn't be on child support right now. You should actually have custody of that child, because when a woman remarries, the child goes to the father. So we're going to cancel that child support. We'll go through all the processes. If it takes 2-3 years, we're going to get it out of your way. We're going to ask that you assume custodialship. Are you able to do so? Are you able to consume full-time custodialship, so on and so forth? And we will establish visitation, proper visitation by mutual agreement. Okay? So are you able to do it? If he said, nah, man, I'm in a bad place right now. Okay. You're in a bad place right now. If you ever reach a point where you can, let me know. We got your kids right now. They gonna be good and okay right now. Okay, me and you as men to men, we're gonna agree on that. Okay, and whenever you're able to, you have the right. You have the rights on me whenever you're able to. Okay, and that is how it should go with example number 5. Okay, now if you disagree with that, I said before, this is controversial. If you disagree with it, then provide me the evidence. We could talk about it. We can dialogue. Provide me the evidence. My mind will change as the evidence dictates. Example number 6. Legal conception before Islam by a Muslim. Well, the same rule would apply in example 5. Legal, married, Muslim man married to a Kafir woman, okay? They have a child. You marry that woman. Those children are the right of that father once she remarries. It's the right of that father. Okay? That man dignified her, married her, according to Sharia law, that he has the right on that child. We will tell him, look, if you're on child support, I'm canceling that. Because I'm now the wali. I'm now the wakil. I can't say, oh man, that's her, dog. That's what people say today. Oh man, that's her, man. I warned her. I told her about the hellfire. I told her the children should go to the father. I told her that, you shouldn't be on child support. But that's all I could do, because I live with her. That's what we're dealing with. So anyway, it will be the same as example 5. Assalamu alaikum. We're going to cancel that child support. If he is on child support, are you able to take custodianship of the children, and are you able to take custodianship of the children, and discuss that? Okay, yeah, I'm good. Or he said, man, I'm not ready. All that is going to be decided based on his ability and willingness and his answer. So then the visitation is established. The visitation is established. Okay, visitation is established for your wife. Times to pick up, times to drop off. We'll agree on that mutually. We don't need the kafirs in our life. We Muslims, right? Okay. Now, example 7. This is the last example, okay? Example 7, legal conception, legal child, legitimate child within the marital bond, within the marital bed. After Islam, she's Muslim, okay? By a kafir or Muslim, okay? A legal child after Islam by a kafir or Muslim, it's going to be the same as example 5 and 6. Same. Counsel the child support if there is any. The state should not be in your business when it comes to this, okay? If the man don't want to pay child support, the new husband should assume it. The new husband should assume that child support. You should assume taking care of the children and the woman. That's the man you got to look for, And if he can't do it, then lean on the state. The state drains us of money and taxes and all that type of stuff. You tell me, oh, it's haram to get food stamps. It's haram to get this, haram to get that. You're always talking about haram. These people always talking about this is haram and that's haram. Look, it's haram to pay jizya to the kuffar. They'll give it back. They'll give it back if you sign that paper, take it. And the imams that say, oh, if you sign that paper and say you're single, then you are actually single. Well, that's not talaq. What make that document talaq? Talaq is specific. It's a Sharia rule. It's specific. You can't say it's talaq just because you sign a paper saying you. Man, al-harbu khuda'a. The war is deception. You don't have to be upfront and honest with these kafirs. You can't buy $1 hamburger if you only have $1. Why you can't buy $1 hamburger with $1? Doesn't that sound redundant? You know why? Because it's going to be $1.08, $1.09, or whatever they charge with the taxes. I'm talking about without cheese. Okay? That's what it's going to be. So if you got $1 for $1 hamburger, you can't buy it. Do you see what I mean? You can't buy it. And that's what we're talking about. Okay? So miss me with all that. You're trying to be politically correct and righteous all of a sudden, but you lap dancing on the kafirs all day, with your thobe on, Anyway, nevertheless, some might dispute the authority of the husband, of the new husband in this case, that he can't walk in and start regulating, He can't walk in and start regulating. They may say he had no right and no business. He had no right and no business in the affairs of my kids regarding their ex-baby daddies, ex-baby daddy or ex-baby daddies. Okay? He has no right and he has no business. Then why do they, subhanAllah, why do they say I'm a package? What's the package? If I'm just marrying you and your kids are not my business, stop saying you're a package deal. Because when I walk into the situation, I'm going to make sure it's by Quran and Sunnah. I'm going to make sure it's by Quran and Sunnah. That's my job. And if you're only my responsibility, then, don't ask me to, buy no clothes, buy no food for the kids. Don't ask me to, such and such was acting up in school again today. Man, talk to his daddy. If you're going to limit me as some simp in the corner, where I can't actually organize your affairs like a wakil, if you're going to limit me like that, then don't ask me for any extracurriculars. Don't ask me for any extracurriculars. Then if you say that this man has no right to get involved with me and my ex-baby daddies or husband, whatever, affairs, especially canceling the child support. Kid, this man paid $1,500 a month. Are you going to replace that $1,500? I don't have to replace $1,500 nothing. Just because the state's robbing him don't mean I'm finna rob myself to make you happy. Don't marry a believing man that fears Allah Ta'ala because he's going to organize your affairs. Marry those simps that live with you. Marry those simps that live with you and are under your care. Marry those dudes that are wards, Marry those dudes that become wards. Don't marry a real man that's trying to be righteous and trying to fear Allah Ta'ala and trying to practice his deen. Because he going to step in and say, hey, this stuff ain't right. Hey, who that you on the phone with? You always take the phone. You take another room. What's going on? We talking to? Oh, this is little Lattimore's dad. It's little Lattimore's dad. What you in another room whispering for? Oh, he want to talk to the baby. I said, wait, get a phone to the baby. Matter of fact, I need some details about him. Is this a bastard child? Did you have this child out of wedlock? Oh yeah. Oh no. We stopping these phone calls. Oh, you getting child support from this man? Yeah. Oh no. No. You can't do that. You can't rob that man. You lay down in a dying cockroach position and conceived a child with a man you were not married to that did not dignify you. That's your child, not his. Child support is being canceled. If you don't cancel that child support, me and you gonna have a problem because now I got people under my roof that are not adhering to Quran and Sunnah as they swore in their Shahada, and I'm gonna be part and parcel to what and complicit in what the oppression, the misapplication of the baby daddy, baby mama affair, and also violating the Sharia law. So, if you're a man married to a woman and you have not organized her affairs by Islam because you feel like it's none of your business, then you're no more than the woman is no more than a single baby mama. She's a single baby mama, and what are you? You're a simp sugar daddy. You're paying the bills. You ask, checking out what's outside, what that noise was outside the bedroom window. You checking on all that. You doing all of that. She calls you. I'm at the gas station. This guy called me out of my name, and you drive, twice the speed limit, getting to the gas station. You about to crack some heads to the white meat over your wife. But that's where your authority stops. You'll die for her, and she'll move on. You'll pay her bills, and when you don't, she'll move on. But you can't organize her affairs. You a simp sugar daddy. That's all you are. And Allah forbid, a'udhu billahi min dhalik, that you live with her. Now you really have no authority. And I feel for you dudes, man. I feel for you dudes. They made sex changes illegal now. You can get it cut, split down the middle, stitched up, tucked, and ripped open, like Caitlyn or whatever. Get it ripped open. However they do it. I'm not a doctor. So anyway, that's what you can do. That's what you can do. But it's the problem that we're dealing with. Example 1 through 7, that's the way it has to be. You have to step into that woman's life and organize her affairs by Islam. Because prior, most of the time, the affairs were not organized by Islam. I know sisters with Muslim daddies. They got Muslim daddies, and they online causing all kind of fitna. On Muslim daddies, online, painted toes, showing their feet, Muslim daddies online just, doing the most. Fat, if they ain't fat, can't get married, can't stay married, The dad meeting all kind of dudes, man. I'm like, the dad, like, man, this body count is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're going through. So as men, we have to go into these women's lives. We have to organize their affairs. We are the Amoo. We are the maintainers and protectors. Despite what other people are trying to redefine and reconfigurate, reformat. They're trying to do that. We are the maintainers and protectors. We have to organize their affairs. And especially when it comes to the baby daddy stuff, because when she in that corner whispering with that dude, don't get offended. Don't get offended because you did not handle your business. You did not handle your business and organize that affair. Look, when we get married, even me, I've been married a lot. We get married, we're thinking about for life. I've never got married thinking temporary. I've never got married thinking temporary, but I knew how much I would deal with and how much I could stand. I'm going to give you my all. I'll talk about simp, alpha, all this crap. I'm the type of dude, work, get paid, I'll drop off my money. Now I'm listening to Lapeef Let's Talk podcast, and they were totally against, not JR, what's his name? I forgot the other dude's name. Totally against, a wife paying the bills, even if it's your money, she organized paying the bills. I'm like, man, that's too much. I don't do that. I don't do that, man. I do Islam. There's no red pill Muslim. There's only Muslim. There's no manosphere Muslim. There's only Muslim. Okay. And if there's similarities and things sound similar, it's because Islam is a patriarchy and not a matriarch. So Here's the issue. Um, this right here, that can be considered simping. I don't need anything. I don't need much. I'll get all the money to my wife, let her organize it, let her save it, what have you. I mean, that's how it works. I have no problem with that, but I got to trust that woman. And if I can't organize her affairs according to Islam, then how far does my trust extend when Allah's deen is on the back burner? I'm expect my money, my wealth, my honor, my dignity, all that to be safe when she don't fear Allah Ta'ala, you know? Like I always say, man, if you got to deal with all that, might as well get you a fine kafir. Just get you a fine kafir. I'm saying, marry that fine kafir. And understand you living with a wolf. Understand you're living with, somebody that has no expectations to fear Allah. That can be that. If you fear that you may go and fall into some zina, whatever you can't find, every time you marry a sister, things ain't what they quite supposed to be, and you can't exercise the authority Allah gave you, and you like, man, I'm burnt out, man. Man, a Muslim sister cheat, a Muslim sister, in niggas DMs, and subhanallah, it's wild, bro. Salam alaikum, and give me a break. It's crazy out here in these internet streets, But nevertheless, that is my spiel. Give me yours. If you have any disagreement, example, go back through the video if you came in late. Example 1 through 5. This is how it should be. And if you feel like a man should not be interfering with the baby daddies and so on and so forth, now when baby daddy get mad and call you out your name, you know what he called me? What he call you when you was talking to him when you shouldn't have been? No, explain to me, what he call you? What he call you when you was whispering with him in the corner on the phone? You probably got on his nerves, when he called you out your name, I mean, we got those women. They get a text message. Look. Instead of protecting you, woman walking down the street and some dude yell out the window, call out her name. She come home. Some dude on Sunset Street called me out my name. So you get the strap, you get the heat. You walking down the street. Who called my wife out her name? It's about to all go down. Children about to be fatherless. Everything about to go down because she didn't just keep it pushing and protected you by don't tell you about that incident. Now, if y'all together, it's not really much you can do, But I'm saying like, dude try to holler in Walmart. This dude try to say something to me on aisle number 7. Your husband on aisle number 20, and this dude on aisle number 7 try to say something to me, and she expecting you to go check him. When they say keeping it real goes wrong. She expecting you to go to aisle 20, aisle 7 and check that dude. It ain't worth it. This dude saw you by yourself. You probably smiled at him. You probably, with your gait swaying side to side, or whatever. Okay, he tried to holler. We holler. I'm saying? He tried to holler. You told him, look, I'm married, and moved around. Did he grab your arm and say, no, baby, let me holler at you. We still be friends. Okay, now come get me. Come get me then. But if I'm not at Walmart, you speed home, this dude try to talk to me on aisle 7. And I say, aisle 7, what's going on aisle 7? Oh, he tried to talk to me. What you tell him? I told him I'm married. I came straight home and told you. Why the drama, man? Dudes holler at women by themselves. And because they're Muslim sisters in a dying cockroach position with Kafir dudes, that hijab ain't scaring no Kafir dude away. He probably be more intrigued, So your protection of me is to say, look, I'm married and move around, but a dude following you around, grab your arm, get on the phone, call me. I'm going to meet you while he trailing you. I'm going to walk behind him, and I'm going to put him to sleep in aisle 7. I'm going to put him to sleep. He going to do a face dive, and they're going to have to check the camera footage, and I'm going to hit him so fast, my fist going to look like it's coming back. So the police going to be like, man, we ain't got no footage of him hitting him. We got a footage of his fist coming back. That's the way it is. Anyway, we are maintainers and protectors. And we are, when you marry a woman, you become the organizer of her affairs, even above her husband. Last example I'll give, Aisha, radiallahu anha, angered her father, Abu Bakr, radiallahu anh, because she held up the caravan. They were looking for her bracelet. She held up the caravan. Abu Bakr said, why aren't we moving? They said, well, Aisha lost her bracelet, so we're looking for it. That's why we haven't moved. Abu Bakr went to Aisha and said, you are holding up the caravan, and raised his hand to pop her. And she ran behind who? She ran behind the Rasul Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because see, that wardship was transferred. Your daughter is forever your ward. But now the husband becomes the one. You don't go to the father and say, Dad, I need $20. Where your husband at? Yeah, that's your daughter. But she got a husband. She come ask you for 20. What? I say, where's your husband? Oh, I called him, but he's not answering. But I need to pay for such and such. Okay, now it makes sense. Don't be asking me for money when you got a husband. My own daughter come to me, ask me for money, and she got a husband. I need to know what's going on. Salaam alaikum, man, your wife just asked me for $300, man. Oh, yeah, man, we behind on this light bill, man. I say, bruh, if you ever behind, you ask me directly. Don't send my daughter to ask me. Between me and you, now I'm gonna cash app you 300 right now, okay? I'm gonna Zelle you 300 right now, but always ask. Don't ask my daughter, man. I mean, don't ask my daughter to ask me. I rambled enough. Dear baby daddies, I have good news and bad news. 1 through 7, whatever scenario fits. If I left out one, Allah is the knower. And if you feel like I left out one, add it. If you feel like I added too much, subtract. I made some mistakes, correct. Inshallah ta'ala, let's produce the dialogue. This has been your brother Saudi Imam for Ex-Faktly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.